For an entire decade, he was the most wanted man on the planet, the architect of an attack that literally changed the world. And for that entire decade, he was a ghost. Today, we're diving into the incredible, high-stakes intelligence operation to find him, a hunt that ended with one single tiny mistake.
So, think about this challenge. After he vanished from the mountains of Afghanistan in late 2001, Osama bin Laden left behind nothing. No electronic footprint, no phone calls, no emails, zip. For the world's most powerful intelligence agencies, the question was huge. How do you even start to find a man who exists completely off the grid?
You know, this hunt cost billions of dollars, and it spanned the entire globe. It pushed technology and human spying to their absolute limits. And when all was said and done, the whole thing unraveled because of one small human error. This is a detective story on a global scale.
All right, let's rewind. We have to go back to the very beginning. In the days right after September 11th, with the smoke still rising, the largest manhunt in history kicked off. Everybody knew who the target was, but finding him, well, that was a whole other story.
You know, at first, things moved at lightning speed. And can you believe this? A key piece of evidence came from the lost luggage of one of the hijackers which had missed its connecting flight. Inside, investigators found al-Qaeda training manuals. I mean, what are the odds? So the U.S. demanded the Taliban hand him over. They refused. The invasion of Afghanistan began, and by December, U.S. forces had him totally cornered in the Tora Bar Mountains. It really seemed like it was about to be over.
But here's the thing. Bin Laden was cunning. He was pinned down, facing certain capture or death, and he sends a message over an open radio, offering to surrender. He just said he needed 24 hours to arrange it. The U.S. and their allies agreed. They halted the bombardment, and it was a trick. That pause gave him just enough time to slip away on horseback with his bodyguards, disappearing into Pakistan. Just like that, the ghost was gone.
So after that incredible escape from Tora Bora, the hunt entered this long, frustrating new phase. We're talking nearly a decade of dead ends. The trail went ice cold, and the world's most advanced intelligence agencies found themselves chasing a shadow.
Now, what's so fascinating here is the total mismatch. You've got the CIA with satellites, drones, global electronic surveillance, the whole shebang. And what did bin Laden have? Nothing. No phone, no internet. His only way of communicating was through handwritten notes delivered by a trusted courier. He was basically hiding in plain sight by living like he was in the Middle Ages.
The CIA was getting desperate. They tried everything. They started printing his face and a $5 million reward on matchboxes, handing them out all over the tribal areas of Pakistan. They were hoping someone, anyone, would give them a lead.
And the result of all that? Absolutely nothing. Zero. Bin Laden's network was built on a foundation of loyalty and fear. Nobody was talking. The matchboxes were a total bust.
Okay, so matchboxes didn't work. Time for Plan B. They decided to try a classic high-stakes spy plot. They recruited a Jordanian doctor who had ties to al-Qaeda and convinced him to become a double agent. His mission? Get inside the inner circle and find bin Laden.
Well, this plan didn't just fail, it backfired in the most horrific way you can possibly imagine. Turns out, the doctor was actually a triple agent, and he was loyal to al-Qaeda the whole time. He promised he had a huge breakthrough and got himself invited to a secure CIA base in Afghanistan.
And when he arrived, he detonated a suicide bomb. He killed 7 senior CIA officers, some of the very people who were leading the hunt for bin Laden. It was one of the deadliest attacks in the agency's history, and it left the entire operation in shambles.
So after that disaster, years go by. The leads completely dry up. Hope is fading. And then, after a decade of perfect, disciplined silence, the break finally comes. And it didn't come from a satellite or a spy. It came from a single careless mistake.
It all came down to just one mistake. See, bin Laden's most trusted courier, a man named al-Kuwaiti, was incredibly disciplined. But on one random day in Peshawar, Pakistan, he made one brief phone call. It was the slip-up the CIA had been waiting a decade for, and you better believe they were listening. And boom, the CIA moved instantly. They traced the signal. But here's the smart part. They didn't arrest the courier. No. Agents were sent to just follow him. They shadowed his white Suzuki Jeep for hours as it drove out of the city and into this quiet suburb called Abbottabad, where it disappeared behind the high walls of a very, very strange compound. So the courier led them straight to this fortress.
Now, the CIA had a massive puzzle on its hands. Who or what was inside? This question sparked an incredibly intense, high-stakes debate right inside the White House.
And when you look at the details, you can see why this place was just screaming red flag. I mean, it was 8 times larger than any other home nearby, but had no phone or internet. The residents burned all their trash instead of putting it out. And maybe weirdest of all, the 3rd-floor balcony had a 7-foot privacy wall. This wasn't a normal home. It was basically a prison designed to keep someone completely hidden.
But here's the catch. After months of surveillance, they still had no definitive proof. Nobody had actually seen bin Laden. So when President Obama asked his team how sure they were, the answers were all over the place. The analysts on the ground, 90% sure. His top advisors, about 80%. But the CIA's own deputy director, he put it at just 60%. This was a massive gamble, a decision based on probability, not hard proof.
But President Obama made the call. The risk was enormous, but the potential reward, well, it was historic. Operation Neptune Spear was a go. 40 minutes, that's all it would take to end the world's biggest manhunt.
And the plan, I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie. They would fly 2 top-secret stealth helicopters into Pakistan, completely undetected. A team of Navy SEALs would hit the compound, confirm the target, and get out before anyone even knew they were there. Simple on paper, incredibly dangerous in reality.
And then, literally in the first minute, the plan completely fell apart. As one of the stealth helicopters tried to hover over the compound, it got caught in a weird downdraft from the high walls. The pilot lost control, and the multi-million-dollar secret helicopter crash-landed right inside the compound. So much for the element of surprise.
But even with a crashed helicopter in the yard, the SEALs moved forward. They blew through gates, they breached doors, fighting their way up through the house. They took out the 2 couriers on the lower floors. Then, on the 3rd floor, they found him. There was a brief firefight, and then it was over.
Meanwhile, back in the White House Situation Room, you can just imagine the tension. Total silence. Then a voice comes over the satellite link from the commander on the ground with a simple code phrase, Geronimo EKI. Geronimo was the code name for bin Laden. EKI, enemy killed in action. The decade-long hunt was finally over.
The SEALs grabbed all the intelligence they could find, they blew up the remains of their crashed helicopter, and they flew out of Pakistan carrying the body of the world's most wanted man. A decade of dead ends, of failures, of sacrifice, all culminating in 40 minutes of chaotic, violent success. It really leaves you with one final question. What was the true cost of finding this ghost?